Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. So today, for the month of October, obviously I want to talk about some horror movies and such, of course. So for today's video, I figure I'll do something for some spooky movies. Do like a conversation kind of thing, I guess you can say. But it's going to be something in regards to movies I've already reviewed, by the way, just so you know. And it's going to be one of these Yeah, it's gonna be one of these kinds of videos, which I haven't done in a good while, obviously. But the thing is that none of these would be in any specific order, but it would range from animation to live action or what have you. Just as long as it's good, I've reviewed it, and so it came from somewhere in Asia. So and it doesn't matter what time period it came from, just trying to have some leg room, I guess, some wiggle room. So with that being said, let's get into it. Making at number 10 is Gojira. Yes, of course, the Japanese version, obviously, which focuses on this disastrous kind of thing. It's very atmospheric, a truly surreal and hopeless vibe that the film gives off. Yeah, it's definitely one of the little films that's really terrifying, and the effects of the atomic breath really leaves these remaining victims horribly be burned and whatnot. So yeah, the country of Japan has been attacked by this one creature that was created by mankind because mankind has truly not learned its lesson. So in some ways, this is like a punishment to some extent, I guess you can say. Now they have to pay the price for what they had done. So okay, moving on from that. So for the next one, I'm going to bring up for a good moment here. Is a film titled Spirit Behind the Door. So this was definitely an honorable effort. This is, of course, a very low budget horror flick. So there was this young office worker whose sister, while out on ghost hunting with her friends, I guess you can say, spies on this, let's say, this spirit in this wild tale, so to speak. So things get rather strange, so to speak, obviously. And of course, it has something to do with the supernatural and whatnot, and that comes into play in the storyline here. Making at number 8 is Curse, Death, and Spirit, which, yes, of course, revolves around ghosts. So this is a three-part anthology type of thing with all three stories not being connected, but they do have a common theme, obviously, taking place in a horror, supernatural kind of a thing. Which, yes, again, this is like super low budget, but it's not too shabby. I would say to check this one out because it's quite enjoyable in its own little way. If you can bear with a low quality budget, I guess you can say, but it's fine. And then at number 7 is this psychological thriller horror movie type of thing where our main character pretty much wants to switch careers and not be a pop idol anymore. I just want to do eventual other things, but obviously it was like the stock of obsessive fan, I guess you can say, that gets really delusional. Our main character just wants to expand creativity because she realizes you can't be in the pop idol industry forever. And this kind of fame is kind of already be there temporarily. And kind of like how to put this, kind of like how Justin Timberlake was part of the boy band and wants to venture someone out to into some other stuff. Let's put it that way. But and of course, you can't just be in a boy band or girl band forever at all. You can't just do that until the end of your life or anything. But it's a really great thing to watch. It's really sophisticated and well written. It's just unfortunate that they don't make anime like this anymore. At least specifically like this. I really do miss that. So okay, at number 7, we're again going back to the whole ghost thing, and obviously this is one of the installments of a long series here. And anyway, so this is divided into six segments, but the in this case, these stories are all actually connected. So it centers around the experience of these tenants of this cursed house where a man killed his wife in a jealous rage. So yes, obviously it has something to do with that, and things go really bizarre and whatnot. So it gets pretty damn crazy, and that's pretty fine by me. Oh yeah. Number six, and okay, technically you could always call this a gangster movie kind of a thing, yes, because that's what it revolves around with this mafia, yakuza kind of thing. But it's crazy and wild enough that I could consider as a horror movie in some respect, I guess. At least that's how I took it. Anyway, this one is centered around each killer going after this individual. Let's just say uh, the plot revolves around this psychological damaged man who is manipulated into assassinating or maybe killing the rival factions of a gang of this feuding yakuza kind of thing. And let's just say that a lot of stuff that the manga has is brought over to this movie. Number five is Audition, which centers around this very loading guy, and his friend convinces him to basically accept this fake audition to pretty much, you guessed it, find a wife. And which eventually happens, and yeah, things start to get weirder and weirder as it goes. This definitely is one of those, yeah, nightmare fuel type of horror movies. So I'm letting you right now, make sure you have the stomach for it. Just putting that there. It gets really psychological, definitely. And yes, it was actually based on a book, by the way. Anyway, at number four, speaking of based on books, this was based upon a series of mangas that also has a series of films. So this film involves around this individual, this member of the photographic club in high school, whose takes a turn for the worse when her dead sister, Tommy, welcomed back into the family home. So yeah, things get really bizarre. And it's a horror movie. Of course it would. We expect. So yeah, folks, this definitely is one of the really bizarre type of horror movie. Anyway, moving on from that, at number three is Abnormal Beauty. And this one centers around this woman who likes to take photos, of course. She's an art student and she definitely wins an award for her work. And let's just say that things do get pretty wild, obviously. Yeah, this it has something to do with death and whatnot, and let's just say things will just continue to get crazier and crazier as it goes, obviously. So there's that. I thought this was definitely a well-made film. Okay, again, it may have a low budget, but still, nonetheless, is actually pretty good. At number two is Resident Cabbage 3, which is stars. But this is more an anthology series in some ways because none of these are really connected. But this one centers around this modest girl from a humble background and privilege, of course. And there's this graceful character as well, who she's friends with, studying ballet at this all-girl boarding school. And yes, obviously, there's gonna be some weird things that's gonna happen. Obviously, some crazy wild stuff, and that's pretty much the theme of this kinds of stuff. Of course, nothing is ever complete normal. And okay, before I get to number one, I figured I would just bring up some honorable mentions. So here we go, folks. So infection. This was a pretty good one here as well because it has something to do with viruses and all that. And yes, of course, the whole thing with hospitals, doctors, and whatnot. That's from a setting here. It's pretty weird, but yeah, it gets really crazy as it goes. And then another one I'll bring up is, of course, the one titled Missed Call, the first one. And yes, it involves like some kind of virus, I guess in some ways, a curse to be more exact. So we're going the whole supernatural route again here. So yeah, it's in regards of the whole cell phones, text messages, and whatnot. So it gets pretty bizarre. So again, I'll be talking about that kind of thing with this, and then another one here deals with like witchcraft, a school setting, schoolgirls, and then there was this. Of course, my main character has to help out in some ways to defeat the evil thing and whatnot. And our main character has to basically deal with the supernatural stuff. And yeah, it has to do with witches and stuff and like that, folks. Yeah, it's pretty wild. But I liked it. This is the first one of the series. But personally speaking, I thought the first one was the best one as far as I'm concerned. Anywho, so another one I'll bring up real quick is Dark Water. Yeah, Dark Water pretty much is like a supernatural horror film again, and centered around this this woman who pretty much battles her ex-husband for custody of their daughter, this 5-year-old. And yes, obviously, that's just, yeah, it won't ease up because it gets really crazy, of course. So, this is three extremes. It's like an anthology kind of a thing. There's a few stories revolving around here, and yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. Just going out there, it gets pretty damn bizarre. So, all right, let's get to the number one recommendation kind of thing, folks. Oh yeah, and it's just Blood the Last Vampire, original one. So again, it deals with a school system, of course, in some ways. Vampires, so some sort of secret organization that wants to wipe out these monsters, these vampires. So they dispatch Saya. Yeah, who is she exactly? No one knows for sure. She's like this mysterious character with some unknown past. Yeah, there's a lot more to her than it seems. So she's rather complicated that way, I guess. And she's not exactly friendly. Anyway, but yeah, she has to fight off these creatures because of the fact that they try to lure around and just kill these people off, obviously. No matter where they are, obviously. But anyway, that's the basic idea when it comes to this one. Of course, she has to do something again with the supernatural and whatnot. It's a part of a series, but again, I think the first one's the best one of the bunch. But alright, folks, that'll be it. So I just thought I'd do this, of course. And I do think that all these are worth watching. It just depends how much you're willing to, I guess, in other words, deal with, because quite a few of these get pretty damn wild in their own way. So let's just put it that way. And that's kind of the thing, though. If there's a common theme in these storylines, is that these stories would use the surroundings to help to set the mood. It's gonna be very atmospheric. You can use the dialogue for this and that, of course, in terms of eeriness. And that's the thing when it comes to the Asian horror films. So yeah, they like to use the environment and whatnot, as a way to build up the tension and whatnot. So it just seems like it's not really something that a lot of the American audiences would be accustomed to, I guess. It's a culture thing, I suppose. It's a culture thing, I suppose. Anyway, I would recommend all of these I just mentioned. Yeah, I mentioned quite a few, but I would recommend all of these. I mean, there's still plenty of others, but I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and take care. Till next time. See you.